Yo, what's good, everybody? What's poppin'? It's Bit Pusher, live in the place. Um, Feeling a little better today than last time you saw me. But check this out. I decided I just wanted to sit down and take some time to do this, just for the hell of it. I don't know if anyone will even know what I'm talking about, but I want to talk today, vlog style, about my man Lucas Secon, um, a hip hop legend to me, even though I think maybe a lot of people might not know who he is. Someone that was important to me, but this man he was best known for a single in 1994 called Lucas with the Lid Off. Y'all are familiar with that? Um, it's really a classic. Um, Maybe his other single was called Wah Wah Wah. Don't know how that ever hit here in the States anyway. But so here's the deal. Um, I I was impacted so much by this guy's album as a kid. I'm like maybe 9, 10 years old, somewhere in there when that came out. I'm trying to remember exactly. But I was so impacted by that album that it stuck with me. It hit very different, and it stuck with me in all sorts of ways. Even as a grown man to this day, almost 40 years old, I still bump this album from time to time. And I have a hell of a collection, so I want to nerd out a little bit and show off my collection and just talk a little bit about some of the stuff if I can. Um, this dude to me was an important piece of hip hop history because one, he was a white rapper in the business, and it was a time when that was a rough thing to do because you had Vanilla Ice on top of the charts, which his whole pop star thing and all that, and the way he made just the corny shit that he was doing. And I just want to say about Vanilla Ice, he's actually a good fellow. So I got to meet him in the early 2000s at one of his shows because he was here locally for this birthday bash thing, right? And I thought it would be pretty funny to go see Vanilla Ice. Like I had just found out at that time he was doing new music and all this. I'm like, and it was cheap. He was performing upstairs of this local venue. It wasn't like a big concert hall or nothing. It was just a little kind of a bar with a stage upstairs. So I went to see Ice and I got there early, and it's sort of a long story, but I actually got to sit down and have a drink with the man and talk with the man, and I got a picture with the man. And he told me the whole story about how, they waved $1 million check in his face and said, your PR people will now tell you what to wear, where to go. Like, he had it rough. So I don't even want to, I can't trip on Vanilla Ice as hard now as I would have back in the day. Just throwing that out there. But regardless, it's all history. But what had happened, it was probably, a difficult thing to be a white rapper and get respect in the business. And Lucas, you know, back then, I think the most legit white hip hop was Third Base, the Beasties. I think Lucas fits in there, and House of Pain. Like these, none of those, because none of those groups to me seem to be fakers pulling all that culture vulture style shit that Ice was doing at that time, or actually before that time, even before those guys. It was like '91 for Ice, but anyway, Lucas Secon. So his album, his second album, Lucas Centric with Lucas with the Lid Off. That tune was hot. It was cool, man. It's a groovy tune, but that ain't it. That ain't all of it. The dude brought a very very complex lyrical style that just to me was unheard of. Very introspective and personal for the most part. You know, Lucas was not my exposure to hip hop. I way predate before that dude ever touched a mic. I grew up with probably the same shit that he did. Like I grew up with Curtis Blow and Cool Mo D were my first people, my hip hop heroes when I was real little. Um, that's I've literally been connected to hip hop my entire existence. It's a part of who I am. So when we get into the '90s like that, the mid '90s, early to mid '90s, Lucas, no, he was not my introduction to hip hop by any stretch. But having come up with a Boogie Down Productions, a Third Base, a Public Enemy, like I said, Mo D, Flash, EPMD, Tribe Called Quest. Just I could go on and on and on. And I'm telling you, out of everything I have ever experienced in my life with hip hop history, everything that I grew up with, and believe me, I was obsessive with collecting music. I had an insane collection of music before I was even 10 years old. I'm telling you. I had never encountered someone that had lyricism in the format and the style that Lucas was spitting. Oh, you wonder why I keep pointing this way? I keep staring at it and you can't see it. Something I collected some years ago is a record store release poster of when this album had come out. I put it in a frame and it hangs on my wall. This is the joint right here, though. So that's one piece of my collection I can get out of the way now, I guess. I'll just put that one over here. So anyways, like I said, no one had come with the format and the style that Lucas was doing. I mean, I never heard nothing like it. And it was so heavy that most of his tunes I didn't even understand until, having listened to him 20 times. He's just so deep. And I don't know what else to say other than the brother just hit that album. Everything about that album really reached me in some way or another. And it was so unique, man. So very unique. It was special to me. And I think most music lovers have that one or two things that just, it may not even make sense with any of the rest of their collection or whatever, but there's this one thing that's like special to them for some reason that don't mean shit to anybody else. Dude was never really huge on the charts. He ended up, giving up the rap game somewhere there in the mid 90s and went into straight production. And he's been incredibly successful since then. Just look up Lucas Secon on Wikipedia. The dude has a forever list of things that he's produced and written, and he's extremely successful with that. It still breaks my heart that he left the mic so soon. He did 2 albums in his time, and then I've had the fortune of getting to befriend him, at least on Facebook, and he'll occasionally respond to me and stuff, and I've never been able to get into a Q&A with him, maybe someday, but he's a really good dude. He's extremely intelligent and he seems like he has a good heart. So I at least have had the chance to connect with this man. But I urge you for real, if you are any kind of hip hop head, to find, and you can find it for a friggin' $1 or $2 on eBay, find a copy of this album, Lucas Centric. And you don't even absorb it for the beats, but the lyrics. Lucas, this was not stuff that I believe your average hip hop head would be cranking in their car if they got a system in the back. It ain't for that, even though I do anyway. There was nothing on this album that you'd be playing in a club, like in a real club where people are, getting, throwing down on the dance floor and throwing down beverages and all that. Nope. This isn't even something I think would have been played on the ball court, brothers out shooting ball and all that, which again, I probably feel like I'm one of the only people that ever did that, and it may not be true because I had this cassette a lot when I was out shooting ball. But anyways, his music doesn't fit any of your typical hip hop categories, and lyrically, you never one single time heard this man rapping about how much money he got, how much gold he got. Nothing gangsta, nothing. I can't even come up with a good way to explain it. I really can't. He's just all I can say is a deep dude, heavily metaphorical and very introspective, bringing his innermost thoughts and feelings into lyrics, and it's dope, just so dope, man. A very different type of beats, mind you, but it is what it is. So, anyways, I'm going to just geek out a little bit now, if I haven't already, and just show off my collection. Any music collector that's like an actual collector for anything, you want to get everything you can, right? You try to get your hands on every piece of something that you can get. Thanks to many years and discogs.com and of course some of my own, I have a heck of a collection to show you. This is what a true fan does, man. You collect because you appreciate someone that much. And given that, Lucas's albums were never like real big hits as a rapper, they're not terribly difficult to find, or not terribly expensive to get a hold of. But here's the thing, other than that poster, which I love that, but this is the real kicker right here. And I'm shooting with a phone. I don't have a camera. I can't see what you see, so I'm really trying my best, guys. But bang, the original cassette. And by the original, I mean the one I got as a kid. It's a little beat up, a little aged, but still good. This is the one. This was the tape. So how did I come across this joint right here, right? Kmart, back when, used to, you know, have cassettes. Obviously, that was far more prevalent than CDs. And, you know, stuff with parental advisory marks, they unlike Walmart or something, they would sell that. And I never understood why this album had that here in America, like my releases anyway. It's just weird because it's not even that explicit. There's a few times on here he like drops an F-bomb, but then he edits it. He edited his own shit. I hate that personally, but regardless, it's not even, anyway. So my mom used to go there, and back in the electronics section, they used to have these sections in the music with these big ass can headphones and this device where you could press a button and listen to 30-second snippets of a couple songs from the new releases. So it was so you could sample the music, right? And this was brand new. It hit the spot with Lucas with the Lid Off and all that. I think it was Lucas with the Lid Off, Wah Wah Wah, and City's In were his cuts that were on this device. But anyway, I listened to it every time I went in there. And because I always went back there, like she'd go shopping, I always went straight to electronics, straight to the music rack. That is no shit. Every single time as a kid, forever. Just that was it. So I begged mom to get me this, but I always begged her for tapes. Every single time we went somewhere, I'm begging for a new cassette. So she was most often, nope, can't do it right now. If you behave this week, maybe, yada, that kind of thing. She ended up eventually getting it for me though. And that was it. This album stuck with me like none other. And this cassette's been through some hell. It's been played and played and played to death, but I managed to keep it because it was that important to me. Oh, it's fucking 2021 and I got a cassette, right? So that's how I first found out about the guy. His previous album before this, never heard of it. And that wasn't until I was in my late 20s, I mean almost 30, somewhere in there, before, you know, eBay had long been around, Discogs long been around before I could find his first album. It was just too rare. You just couldn't find it. But just from that age on, it's stuck, so it's always had a place banging in my system, you know what I'm saying? So let me show you my collection. What do I got? Let me count, make sure I have this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 2 copies of one, but I have 7 different copies of the album Lucacentric. All of these are different catalog pressings from different countries. And some really cool thing to note about that is, other than the fact that they're imported, you know, from different places, is that a few of them have some unique differences from the others. Most of the releases, like the UK and Canada release, looks just like this. It's got a clear disc, or you know what I mean, a silver disc with just the red print on it, and it's got this kind of ink splat, like this painting splat picture of Lucas in it. I think it's pretty dope. Again, I don't know what you can see since I don't have a view, but so that's the general format for most of the releases. But there's some other differences between a few of them, particularly the German release. Let me find that mofo. No, that's not good. I don't have these catalog memorizers. There's numbers memorizers, too many. Yeah, the German release has a glossy white disc with glossy red print. I mean, very slick and glossy. That's from Germany. Like I said, the Canada and the UK release are identical. The Japanese release, so this one is from Japan. And one thing that makes it stand out is on the spine. The spine on this one, I know you probably can't see it, is in Japanese, complete kanji text there. And it's got a glossy finish, glossy print similar to the German one. But what's really cool with this one is that inside the booklet, I don't want to get that out because I'm afraid I'm going to crinkle the crap out of it. It's got the lyric sheet that comes in the booklet, but it's also got a separate lyric sheet that's got all the lyrics in Japanese. And it's got a section, a small mini bio on Lucas that's all in Japanese. And I've tried like hell to translate that, but I'm very careful with this because this one was a little more costly for me to get, and I don't want to, it's very tight. The sheet's packed inside the booklet, and trying to pull it out, I'd rather not. So sorry. But anyways, yeah, it's got a separate, completely separate pull-out sheet with Lucas's lyrics all in kanji text. So I think that's pretty dope. The US, right here in the good old US of A, we got a little bit jacked over on some of the printing for Lucas's album. So his album here, other than the arrangement of the barcode and some of this is different than any of the other releases, the American release does not have that artwork underneath. Underneath this black tray is just plain white paper, whereas all the other releases have that ink splat image. I would really like to know why that is. Why did Atlantic Records do that? Also, the American disc, as you can see, is slightly arranged just a little differently than the other ones, but it's also a matte finish white and a matte finish textured print, different than the others. So I actually like the quality of the American disc the best, and that's not a my country bias type shit. It's just that the print, it feels heavier, and I think it's a better quality disc. But they did remove that ink splat artwork. I can't guess what the reason is for that. And then out of all the releases, just want to see something funny if you've noticed, is the promotional. This is the American promo only copy, the record company copy. What sets this apart is a few things other than that gold ink stamp that says, for promotional use only, sale or transfer is prohibited. It also says that on the disc. It's not stamped on, it's printed on with that little red text just like all the rest of it. I've never seen a promo only copy of anything. I mean, I've seen plenty of albums with that stamp, that gold stamp, but not printed on the disc. That's interesting. And then they screwed up the artwork a bit, in my opinion, because every other copy of the album, look where Lucas's head is. Top of his head's just off the top of the case. On this one, it sits down low. And it's not that the book is folded inside incorrectly. It is perfect, like measured everywhere else. Just the actual print for his face is off. It is off a bit. Also, I don't know if you can tell this or not, but unlike all the other copies that look like this, his face is a little more forward on the promo copy. So this one's just an all-around different print. It actually has the same catalog number as the US release, except the US release, the catalog number is printed on the side in bold. The promo only copy is very skinny. But this type of shit, you still paying attention? You still with me? How is that for nerding out, right? Like, this is serious. That's my collection. This is my dude right here, and I will appreciate him till the grave because, like I said, it was just one of them special places in time that impacted me. So to go along with that album, I collect more than just that. So check this out. You dig this? I have something incredibly rare. Something I can't believe I found it when I did. I actually paid $60 to get this imported from the UK. And only one time in my life have I ever seen it. I have searched and searched for years after, for trying to find this. No one ever had it. I had no proof it even existed until I found it. But the 12-inch vinyl copy, double LP set of Lucas Secon. The cover's a little aged, but it's not creased or scratched. No nicks and cuts. Nothing fuzzy going on, like it's starting to peel. None of that kind of stuff. It's a very matte finish, a very grippy matte finish. It ain't a smooth texture like your normal record, right? And the print advisory sticker is a little rough, but still, there it is again, right? And this is from the UK, so I didn't even know they did that over there. I thought the print advisory shit was just America, but let's peek this out. this is the first time this has been out of the plastic in a long time. Doing it just for this video. So this is special. This is special. It opens up, and inside you have that ink splat artwork, which this is beautiful, man. Like when you see it this size, I love the textures and stuff going on in that splat. Like it looks really cool, especially if you have a black light. And in this picture here, kind of the cityscape with the horn representing jazz. At least I believe that's what he meant. This is printed in the booklet of all the artwork as well, except, guess what? America. The US release doesn't have this in it either. They screwed the artwork, and I fail to understand why. But, yep, full joint on vinyl. His lyric sheets. Because Lucas, every copy of his album has all of his lyrics in it, and I found that to be really awesome. Let's see, yeah, the second half of his album has a black label with the red print, if y'all can see that. Hey. The condition of these records is decent. They're not mint. They do have a little bit of wear, visible wear. They still play well. When I first got it, I listened to it once all the way through, both sides of these records, just to say I had listened to it on this classic album for me on vinyl. And then whatever the hell these arrows are supposed to mean that go with the Lucacentric, that's on the other part there. And the first half of the album, this has the white print with the red text. I always keep an eye out for additional copies of this on vinyl, because it's just that rare. Like I'm the one on discogs.com that put in if you're familiar with that, a cataloging site, a music cataloging site, Discogs, like discography.com. I'm the one that created the entry for this. And it's legit. This is not a bootleg or a knockoff, at least I don't believe so. It's got a completely separate catalog number, but Warner Music UK Limited with a SKU, a matrix number printed on the, on the inside of the vinyl there, all of it. So that rounds out my collection. As far as I know, as far as I'm aware, I own every copy of Lucacentric that was ever pressed. Which, again, if you've either never heard of it or wasn't impressed or whatever, then you're like, who gives a shit? Whereas, again, I say that to me, this is a special piece of history for me. And I'm very fortunate that I was there to experience it, that Lucas, meant that much to me, that album connected with me. If it's that important, it's got to be something to listen to, right? Coming from a hip-hop head, representing with my heart. This was something unique, different from all other music I had. Going along with that, then, we will get into a quick look at my singles. I have a 12-inch of Wah Wah Wah. Make sure these are together, okay. 12-inch of Wah Wah Wah. And this has mixes on it that obviously were not on the album. I'm going to save you some time by not pulling the vinyls out of every one of these. The labels are all what they are, but the one I am going to show you. That's the only copy of that I have. I know there's other pressings of that exist, even a 7-inch, but I haven't picked them up. I haven't ordered them up. I don't know if I'm even gonna for sure or not, but I have 2 different pressings of Lucas with the lid off, the hit single. This one right here matches what was released on CD in America. So I don't know if this one, I don't remember if I got this one as if this is an American release or not. Printed USA, yeah. So the American release has original extended mix, Society with the Lid Off mix, the ska mix, which that ain't ska music, like it's its own type of twist on reggae, and funky Delta mix. So these versions of the tune were on the American release CD singles as well. But this one's in a proper case, like a proper cardboard, vinyl sleeve. This one is a little more fragile. This one was imported from the UK. Still has a UK some record store's price tag on it with freaking whatever the hell British pounds equate to. I don't, in dollars, I have no clue. But this is a paper sleeve. Like, this whole thing is just a paper sleeve. It's not cardboard. But what is cool about this one is it has mixes on it that I had never, ever heard until I found this vinyl, and was never put on any CD. Never saw a compact disc, which is a shame because they're dope as hell. But City Zen, a remix from Diamond D, and then one called Lucas's Inner Traffic remix, which is a bass booming ass classic East Coast hip hop New York fucking jam, dude. It is really dope. I already have run my turntable through my mixer console over there and re-recorded this so I could have it digitally. But yep, piece of the collection there. Also from my friends over in the UK, where they get the coldest water bottles. Who doesn't love to say water bottle in British? Water bottle. I love the British accent. I swear I think a woman with an English accent is just sexy. But anyways, also from the UK, and this one's a little more rare, I think. This is a double LP set of singles. Lucas with the Lid Off with its mixes and the instrumentals, and then City Zen with its mixes and the instrumentals. And other than the fact that there's nothing else to it other than that sticker, it does say WEA. So I assume it's an actual release, but this one's just fun to me because this one's a white label looking type of thing. Both of the records look like this. They are straight, it says WEA on the top, so it's got the Warner thing, but it's still just a very plain label. And it says, what, promo only, not for resale. So I don't know how they do their promo stuff in the UK. I don't know how any of that works, but this set I think is a little bit more rare, and I'm glad I have it. So also the only set of any of the singles that exist, at least on Discogs, and I am including the ones that I don't have, that have the instrumentals of those Diamond D and Lucas's Inner Traffic remix. So, and Lucas, bro, you really need to put that shit digital. The Inner Traffic remix hits so hard, like it bangs. Love that version. Diamond D's version of City Zen's kind of plain. It's okay. It's not bad. It ain't great, but yeah, it'd be like that. With them singles, same situation here. I got, well, an actual jewel case, the full proper single of Wah Wah Wah. Imported. Licensed for promotion only. Sale is prohibited. It's printed in the case there. I got two different slimline copies. These discs both have, I think one of them's missing one of the mixes. Yeah, this one only has 3 mixes of Wah 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 on it. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4. This one has 5 different mixes, and then the original and instrumental of another one of his cuts from the album called Work in Progress. And then similar to that is also this one, just a different pressing. It's got 5 different versions of Wah Wah Wah, and then 2 of Work in Progress. It's a cardboard sleeve. It's also the only Lucas disc in my entire collection that's black, instead of printed with white or clear. That's probably why I got it, because that is not common. And then finally, with Lucas with the Lid Off, I have 3 different pressings of that. A US, a UK, and then sort of a shortened promo only copy that has only 3 versions of the song on it. Whereas the other 2 singles, the US and the UK release, have 6 instrumentals and 5 mixes, whatever. So all different catalog numbers, of course, because they're different pressings. So that's it. That's the main, that's that whole joint, all my Lucas-centric stuff. But wait, there's more. I did mention that was Lucas's second album. And by this point, he had much refined his style. From what I understand, I'm only piecing things together here from the guys, that he was still trying to find himself when he was younger. And he was just working on that level. When he first got put on, as far as I know, I may be somewhat historically inaccurate, But he got on a tune with Chub Rock on this tune about the war called Bring 'em Home Safely. And as far as I know, I think that was the first time anyone heard Lucas's voice on the mic. I could be wrong. I don't know who brought him in or how he got put on. I know that Cutfather did some producing for the guy back when he was just getting started in the business. I know that Lucas was a DJ when he was younger. I'd read some stuff about that. That he got into hip hop and spinning records and doing like actual on the decks. He also does his own scratches and stuff on his first album, which is called To Wrap My World Around You. But whatever it is that got his foot in the door, I don't know. No clue. But I only have a little bit of that history. Like I said, it started with the CD, which took me forever to get a hold of. I couldn't get a hold of this when I wanted it when I was a kid. It was nowhere to be found. Could not find it as a teenager. Even in my earlier 20s, I couldn't find this on the internet nowhere. Not even a bootleg of MP3s. I remember spending time searching Napster and LimeWire and all that, trying to find music from this. I had once read some about the song Show Me Your Moves, which is the first cut on here, and couldn't find a copy of it to even hear it. I remember like trying to find real player samples, anything, because I wanted to hear what Lucas did. And he's such a kid in these photos, man. Like, it's just crazy how young he looks. He doesn't sound like he looks. His voice sounds almost like he did even later. But, and he had hair. Like, he had a head of hair. Whereas when he did the Lucas-centric and the 2 music videos that went with that album, Lucas with the lid off and Wah Wah Wah, his music videos, he's got a shaved dome. So that was really a crazy sight to me when I first found those. This album, to me, is also reasonably deep for the most part. I think he's trying too hard once in a while to be comical. Most of the time, though, he's pretty on point. Beats-wise, I don't feel it as much. It's a little bit, I don't know. I don't want to say poppy. That would be way incorrect. I'm trying to find the right word. But it had a handful of tunes that I really like. It had just a few that I didn't. I'll just put it that way. I'm really glad I have it, and I'm glad I got to experience it. The artwork on it is just something. But anyway, so yep, his first album, and this goes back 3 years before Lucas-centric. This is 1991 with this joint here. There's 2 versions of Show Me Your Moves on here, which is about a pair of people meeting on the dance floor type of thing. One's in French. So hearing him do a full track rapping in French or Danish or both, however he did that shit's off the chain, man. It was really cool. But he's got a cut on here with Jamal Ski from Boogie Down Productions. This is a good album. The Ice Age, system banger, crazy system banger. The actual song Wrap My World Around You, or also called Wrap the Night Around You, not my style. That's one of the couple I don't really care for. But regardless, this is all around a very good album. And like I said, I'm glad to have it. Going along with that, I have a vinyl copy, which is an odd enigma in and of itself, because the outside sleeve, as you can see, it looks a little bit wore, has some wear and tear, but the actual vinyl inside here is mint. I mean, it looks like a needle was hardly ever dropped on it. So that's really awesome. I'm good with that. And the one actual single from the album, Show Me Your Moves, which the versions of the song that are on here, and none of these are on the album. They're all completely different. It's got that gold stamp for promotion only. Ownership reserved by MCA Records Incorporated. Sale is unlawful. Look at my man here. How young he looks, man. That's my man Lucas right there. The look he was going for, man. He's kind of like very white teenage 90s, yet still hip hop as fuck. Like, I don't know how he pulled it off, but he did. Last in my collection, just for showing it, is a couple years, making sure I got this exactly right because I don't want to tell you wrong. Yep, a couple years after Lucas-centric, the only other time that I could find where Lucas was on the mic spitting lyrics was actually on a single from Junior Dangerous. which if you ever listen to Lucas with the Lid Off, he's a dude that says, "Come follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me now." The dude that brought that proper reggae spirit to some of Lucas's jams, and he was featured on Lucas Centric a few times. But it's a solo project from Junior Dangerous where Lucas brought in some lyrics. The standout thing with this song's kind of but there's a remix on here called the Bollinger's Dialect Mix, which Lucas has 2 full verses on that version, whereas the other tracks he's only got 1 main verse. But it slams. This is one of my system bangers when I'm in the mood for Lucas, is that version of this song, because Lucas, for one, kills it. He steps to the mic, man, and puts it down, and the boom, like this beat was made with some serious low end, and it hits. So definitely actually one of my favorites when I'm in the mood for some bass in my system, you know. But the last piece of my Lucas collection, I've seen some stuff online that's got his name attached to it, like something he produced for some group called My Feet Work, and then another version called My Feet Hurt. I don't know. I once heard a version of one of those on YouTube like forever ago, and I don't hear Lucas spitting lyrics on it anywhere, so I don't know if he produced it, remixed it, what, but as far as I know, officially, like spitting raps, that coming out to play was the last time Lucas was on the mic. Is that enough nerding out? I mean, I at one point pondered showing y'all the discs so you could see the different labels and prints, and because I love that as a music collector, looking at the booklets, the pictures, reading the thank yous. I do all that, you know what I mean? For all the stuff I want to collect. I could show you my huge ass Prodigy collection, my Third Base collection, my Public Enemy collection, my Wu-Tang collection. Like, I have collections, man. It's what I do. It's one of my hobbies and passions. But this one from my man Lucas Secon, again, just as a sign of gratitude for how, and for whatever reason that doesn't even make any sense, I don't have a good explanation or something sensible. Like, I understand why you'd feel that way. I don't have it. I can only say that the album Lucas Centric hit me in just the right way. It struck my mind in a way that no other hip hop at the time had quite done. So it's special to me, and that's my collection. So if y'all actually stuck through something this long and boring, cool, love you for it, because I don't know if I would have been able to if it wasn't something that I was particularly interested in. But I really do, from my heart, want to give a shout to my man Lucas Secon. You ever want to do me a favor, Lucas? You ever want to do something for someone that has followed you their whole life, especially with the convenience of the internet, for God's sakes, drop a beat, get on the mic and just spit something, man. I don't care if it's a freestyle or if it's a verse or if you'd actually take the time to write a song about something, your love of hip-hop, your love of life, how your son has grown. Fabian Secon is a very, very successful musician overseas right now. Like, this dude's getting YouTube views and things in the millions. So, clearly music runs in the family, but write a cut about something, Lucas. Please give me something from you, man. I'm back on the mic. Hip-hop right now, I think in the poor and sorry state that I feel it's in, where hip-hop culture and the real elements of the culture just don't matter anymore, don't seem to, musically. Come back, man, and bring it. God, I swear, if that man would do an album, I would buy that shit tenfold. Like, I would buy it digitally, buy it physical if it existed, rep it on everything I possibly could. Like, that dude will forever be my homie, man. I love Lucas. So, all right, folks, Bit Pusher is finally shutting up and getting out of here. Peace.